that the load losses for conventional technologies, for the existing capacity that's in the system, are very, very quickly very important for gas turbines, open cycle gas turbines, combined cycle gas turbines, already 50 and 30% for only 10% wind, which most countries in the meantime have. For 30%, it's 80 and 70%. So very, very quickly huge load losses, and you from the electricity industry, from the energy industry know that a lot of gas plants have gone out of business precisely due to that effect. If you add in the electricity price that's been going down, the profitability losses are terrible. To some extent, nuclear in the short run, sort of due to its low variable cost, slides under, is a little bit protected from these price falls and from these load losses, and of course it suffers from the electricity price variations, but its load losses are relatively limited as long as wind and solar are at the 10% range. They come to 20-30% with 30%. But that is actually for existing nuclear. If we're talking new nuclear, everything changes. Everything changes. This is then the question of investment in the long run. Think of this as the old system that we have. Think of it roughly as a country like France. It's not exactly France, but comparable. You have a lot of nuclear. You have some coal capacity. You have some combined cycle capacity and quite a bit of open cycle gas turbines. Now, if you install in the new system this renewable capacity, wind, then you can only save of the old system this little white rectangle, which corresponds to the capacity credit, and your new system, or your new old system, your conventional system that you need to have in place next to the renewable system will look like this. Will look like that, with a lot less nuclear, with the same amount of coal, and with a lot more gas. So in the long run, due to the investment, due to the capital cost intensity, there will be a realignment of the system towards less nuclear and more coal and gas, in particular gas. The irony of all this is that this new system with 30% renewables will be more carbon intensive than the old system. Will be more carbon intensive than the old system. And that is one of the big lessons or the big messages that we try to pass on to policymakers. The system costs are quite large, at least for renewables. In the first study, we're working on a second study that will be coming out early next year with updated numbers. But you see, all technologies have some huge system costs in the range of €1, €2 for nuclear because of connection costs. Also, they need grid reinforcement in the vicinity of the plant and others. But the really big costs are with variable renewables, going up to $50 per megawatt hour if you have solar at 30% penetration rate. Let's be clear though, the system costs depend enormously on the surrounding system. Different countries have different system costs, and they usually increase exponentially with the share of renewable penetration. So I really invite you to take a closer look at this study, or at the new study when it comes out in January. In conclusion, I would just like to pass on some of the key messages that for the system costs. The integration of large shares of intermittent renewable electricity is an important challenge. They can be quite large, up to $80 per megawatt hour, but depend on country, context, and technology. The $80 per megawatt hour were for solar power in Finland, which everybody understands very quickly is not ideal to have 30% of the system to be covered by solar power. System effects of nuclear power do exist, but are modest, and grid level and total system costs, the total cost of the system, increase over proportionally with the share of variable renewables. The policy conclusions: we need to insist on the correct accounting for system costs and ensure their correct allocation. We need new regulatory frameworks that minimize and internalize the system effects. That may include capacity payments for dispatchable capacity such as nuclear, in particular when they're low carbon, and offer long-term contracts to dispatchable baseload capacity. These are the two important ones. And as has been said, a review of support mechanism for renewable energies. There has been some slight progress, which makes electricity markets a little more rational, in particular with respect to negative prices that have vexed producers for some years now. And we need to work, in fact, on the combination of flexibility resources to enable the coexistence of nuclear and variable renewables. Flexibility resources such as demand response, such as storage, such as increased interconnections, but also more flexible nuclear. So more flexible nuclear, less expensive nuclear, and we know that no deep decarbonization is possible without nuclear. So working in that direction, I think, especially if we then receive also a carbon price, I think we still have a very important role to play in the electricity markets of the future. Thank you very much.